Hey everyone, it's Tom here from thisonlineworld.com. I hope you're having an awesome day today. Now, I made a video recently on 8 online job ideas for teens, and that's by far the most popular video on this channel, so thank you so much if you watched that video and that's why you're subscribed and watching this one. That video also got a lot of comments, people saying things like, I don't want to work online, or I don't have access to a computer, or PayPal doesn't work in my country, or different reasons that are completely justifiable for why you might not want an online job. Since things are slowly opening up again, and also you're going to be done online classes sometime soon, I thought today would be the perfect time to make a video on 8 summer job ideas for teens. Summer is practically here after all, and I'm going to include job ideas in this video that typically pay higher than minimum wage, and there's something in this video for everybody based on what you like to do, so be sure to watch this one until the end. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so the first job on this list of summer job ideas for teens just has to be landscaping. Obviously, the summertime is when homeowners are going to be, spending the most money on landscaping services. So this is the time of year when you see people redoing their lawns, they're getting fresh mulch, they need their lawns cut consistently, or they have some landscaping projects that are going on. So I have friends who made money with this job while they were teenagers, but also during college, and there's honestly so much money if you can either start working with a landscaping company on the side, or you even just go door to door and offer your own services. If you love the outdoors, this is really a great way to spend a lot of your time in summer, because typically with landscaping jobs, you wake up really early, like at 5:30 or 6 or 6:30. You get your work done before the sun's at its hottest, and then you have the rest of the day off to do what you want. Typically get paid in cash. It's a a nice side hustle idea for you if you're a teen, or even just a full-time summer job if you're a teenager. If you know somebody who owns a landscaping business, this is the easiest way to get your foot in the door and to actually start working. Whatever you do, just make sure you wear protective clothing or protective shoes especially, and wear some sunscreen because you're out in the sun all day. So that's the main tip for this summer job. The second summer job idea for teenagers is to work on a golf course. Golf courses actually have a ton of moving parts, which I didn't know for a while because I'm not really a huge golfer, but a bunch of my friends are, and they've worked at golf courses in the past. There's so many different jobs at a golf course that are available to you, and you don't necessarily even have to enjoy golf or know too many of the rules to work at a golf course. Pretty much any private golf course is going to have kitchen staff, they're going to have people working beverage cart, they're going to have people taking care of the green, and then they're also going to have people who work in the shop making sure golf carts are operational and functional for when members want to rent them out. Depending on where you live, different golf courses are going to care more about your age than others. You probably can't work on beverage cart if you're underage, although I do know some golf courses that really don't care. You can still work in-house or in the restaurant or taking care of the green when you're in high school. Another option for you would be to start the golf season off by working as a caddy. Being a caddy for special events or tournament games, or just even as a private club golf caddy, can actually pay a pretty decent amount as a summer job when you're a teenager. Definitely a good summer job idea to turn to, especially if you like golf, and I recommend applying early before the season really gets underway, because otherwise it's just too busy and positions have probably already been filled. The third summer job idea for teenagers is actually to get into construction work. Now, you might not know this, but according to the US Department of Labor, you can start working in a limited capacity on construction sites as early as 16. Now, you can't work in a full capacity, like you can't be operating heavy machinery, you can't do some of the work that's deemed a little bit more dangerous or a hazardous job. But for a summer job idea for teens, especially if you already know, a family business that runs construction work, this is a really good way to make some extra money during the summer. Now, there are different regulations that vary by country, and obviously some countries don't really have labor laws in place, so I recommend reading into it and just figuring out if this is the right job for you. According to Pay Scale, construction work pays about $15 per hour on average. Obviously, more experienced construction workers earn more, and then beginners, such as yourself as a teenager, would earn probably on the lower end of the spectrum. Regardless, this job should pay higher than minimum wage, even if it's just by a few dollars. And on top of that, if you like being outdoors and you like physical work, this is a great summer job to try. Like, you don't need a gym membership if you work as a construction member, that's for sure. This is probably a summer job for teens that are getting ready to graduate. They're 16 or 17, or they're their final year of high school and they're prepping for college or entering the workforce. Like I mentioned with landscaping, just make sure you're safe, look at what kind of equipment you need, what kind of boots you need, and make sure you're not working in an unsafe work environment if you choose this summer job. So the fourth summer job idea for teens, and this is honestly something I wish I knew about when I was a high schooler, is to work for parks or conservation areas. If you live in an area with a lot of parks or trails, areas where people go hiking, or there's conservation areas, this is probably a pretty easy summer job to find. Teens get hired for this type of stuff all the time. Like, you'll be responsible for leading youth groups, you'll be responsible for keeping trails maintained. You might work like a parking attendant or the front gate, letting people in and out of the park. A lot of parks and conservation areas also have like little kiosks or gift shops, so you could work there. And then on top of that, you might find some that are more of like a historical landmark. They might even have something like a small museum component where young school groups come in or parents and families come in, and you can lead different workshops for kids, or at least just keep an eye on things and make sure the museum is running as scheduled. And I really wish I knew about this one, because in my area there were tons of parks and conservation areas I went to all the time. If you like nature and you like being outdoors, working to preserve trails and to just keep a park functioning is a pretty sweet summer job to have. I definitely recommend applying to this one early, and it's really a great summer job idea for teens if you love the outdoors. Now, the fifth summer job ideas for teens is to actually be a farmhand. Now, like construction work, a lot of teenagers don't realize that they are legally allowed to work on a farm, in the United States at least, as long as they meet certain requirements. According to the United States Department of Labor, if you are 14 or 15 years old or older, you can work in agriculture on any farm as long as school isn't going on and you're not working a hazardous job. If you're 12 or 13, you can also work in agriculture, but you have to have a form that has written consent from a parent saying you're allowed to work on the farm. You can't work during school hours either, but again, this is over summer, so it's the perfect summer job for teens because school isn't holding you back. Now again, I mentioned you can't work at hazardous jobs, and there's actually quite an extensive list of those jobs, but typically that means you can't do things like use heavy machinery, you can't bale hay above a certain weight, you can't operate in grain silos or things where you could potentially fall into and just disappear. So you're probably going to be looking at a lot of jobs like picking or packaging or just helping out with random tasks around the farm. Regardless, this is an awesome summer job for teens because it pays pretty well. According to PayScale, farmhands make about $12 per hour on average. And again, if you like the outdoors and you like being on your feet and you kind of want to learn more about how a farm operates, if that's something you're interested in, I think this is a really good summer job idea to try out. Plus, if you love animals and you're thinking about maybe being a vet in the future or getting into biology or something like that, having this on your resume is at least something that makes you stand out from the crowd a little bit. I think it's a great summer job idea for teens, and just make sure you read up on what you're allowed to do and not allowed to do in the workplace. Idea number 6 on this list of summer job for teens is to referee sports. This is again assuming that sports come back this year, or they're in full capacity and there's contact allowed and groups of people are allowed to gather. If it doesn't happen this year, keep this one in mind for future years, because refereeing sports is one of the best summer job ideas for teens, and it doesn't matter what sport you play or love. I played competitive soccer for my city when I was growing up, and during that time a lot of my teammates actually became referees, and they started out when we were like 12 and 13, and they would coach and ref little league games, and they'd make some decent money on the side. As we slowly got older, they also started reffing older and older age groups and more competitive age groups as well. And as you ref more competitive leagues and older leagues, your pay goes up as well. So this might be a summer job where you start out, you're 12 years old or something like that, and you're reffing little leagues and you're making some pocket money per game. But by the time you're ready to graduate and you're getting out of high school, you might be reffing competitive leagues of 12-year-olds to 14-year-olds and making upwards of almost $100 a game. This is just for soccer. I don't really know what the rates are like for hockey or other sports, but typically referees make decent money. It's above minimum wage, and if you're reffing a sport you really love, this should be kind of a fun use of time and not so much of a job really. You could also branch out. You could do some skills coaching work on the side, or maybe you could be an assistant coach for somebody as you get older. If you love sports and you're willing to learn how to be a referee, because usually there's a course or two you have to take, this is absolutely an awesome summer job to try out, and it's something you can do when you come home from college during the summers, or even when you're a bit older and it's just a fun way to spend a nice summer day. So keep this job in mind and make some money with it. The 7th summer job idea for teenagers is to either babysit or pet sit or house sit. There's a few different categories of this job idea. Now this summer could really go, again, one of two ways. I think we'll either see things open up a bit more and people can go to cottages or at least do some kind of in-country trips, and you'll see a lot of people kind of itching to get rid of this cabin fever, and they'll be leaving for the weekends and they'll need babysitters or pet sitters or somebody to look after their place. On the flip side, travel really won't be a thing this summer, but again, you can keep this in mind for later in the year or next summer, and I think this is just a generally good idea to try out if you're a teenager. I mean, the job is really pretty simple. You just have to make sure the baby's okay, or the pet's okay, or the house is okay. Like, it's not rocket science. If you do go for babysitting, I do recommend getting certification from something like the Red Cross. You can get basic first aid training, childcare training, or even advanced childcare training, and that definitely makes parents feel a lot more comfortable if they're going to trust you as a babysitter. Once you become certified, you can reach out to your friends and families and let them know that you're now offering babysitting services. And a similar idea works if you want to pet sit. Like, just reach out to families and let them know if they're going away for vacation or a weekend, you can look after their pet for a pretty modest price. You can also try posting on care.com if you want to find babysitting gigs, or even like local classifieds or Facebook groups or something like that. This is a pretty decent summer job for teens because it's more flexible and it's not as much of a commitment as working a retail job or maybe some of these other summer job ideas. It's also really good if you decide to go off to college because you can just do your homework while you're babysitting or house sitting and you're getting paid to basically study. Definitely a pretty sweet job to keep in mind as you progress through school. The 8th and final summer job ideas for teens is just to apply to different openings in your city as your city and municipality kind of prepares for summer. There's a lot of jobs that open up in summer that are actually specifically designed or pretty common for teens to apply to. These are jobs like lifeguarding or being a camp counselor. One really popular one in my city was, like, if you've ever seen those flower beds in between, intersections or along roadsides, pretty popular job in my city was just to tend to those flower beds and to regularly water them. You would basically pair up with an older student if you were in high school, go along in this truck and you'd water them and you'd make sure everything looked okay. And again, like landscaping, like you would wake up early and do that. You'd be done your job by about noon or 1 p.m. at the latest. This is a pretty sweet summer job for teens. It's pretty low stress. You're not really dealing with people. Bottom line here is just look on your city's website or see what kind of jobs are opening up. The key here, and with pretty much any summer job, is to really apply early so you're not applying at the last minute and you find the jobs you really wanted are all full. If you just want something reliable and with steady pay and you don't mind dealing with customers all day, retail jobs are still an option. I was actually a dish boy for a little bit back in high school, and then during college I worked as a Starbucks barista. I just didn't include them in this list of summer job ideas because I wanted to mix it up a little bit, and a lot of the jobs on this list actually pay more on average than what you'll find from a minimum wage job. I think between the video I made for online job ideas for teens and this video on summer job ideas for teens, you're pretty much ready to make money as a teenager, whether you prefer doing it from a computer in the comfort of your own home or you want to be on your feet and a little bit more active. If you have a go-to summer job that you used as a teenager or you're using right now and you're a teen who's watching this, let me know what it is down in the comments below so other teenagers who stumble across this video can kind of see what's working and maybe make more money this summer. And we're approaching 1,000 subscribers, so again, thank you so much for all of the support and watching these videos and the awesome comments and likes. Be sure to subscribe if you're not, because we do have a 1,000 subscriber giveaway coming up, so that will be a little bit of fun, I think, and the next video is going to talk more about that, so do not miss it. As always, don't forget to check out thisonlineworld.com for more unique ways to make and save money. I hope you guys have an awesome day and incredible summer, and I will catch you guys in the next one.